watching Exalbus Chernobyl.
That answers your question.
Welcome back to our channel. Today we're gonna take a look at the top 10 Untold Truths of Kool-Aid. Whoa! I'm Slow Moe! Nice to meet you, Slow Moe, but here's our hint for the disrespectoid for tomorrow. Something to do with their two-faced kid. One is a boy and one is a girl. Oh, I know. It's Bobby Sue. Correct. I know it's Bobby Sue, but you gotta figure out for tomorrow. But anyways, let's begin with the Untold Truths of Kool-Aid. Give me some Kool-Aid, man! Woo!
More Kool-Aid?
Kool-Aid is so much a part of the American culture that there's even an expression involving the
Can
popular
I get a
drink.
Kool-Aid?
Now,
Can I
to be
get a
fair,
Kool-Aid?
the
Can I get a
expression in
Kool-Aid? Can I
question,
get a
drinking
Kool-Aid?
the Kool-Aid,
Enough
has
with that,
nothing to
Kiff.
do with the
But
flavored drink
anyways,
mix. But the
we're
point
just
is,
about to get
Kool-Aid
started.
has established itself in the American psyche,
Okay.
just like other popular American brands like Coca-Cola, McDonald's, and Hollywood. But that doesn't mean that most people know everything about
got the
it.
most
So
Hollywood
it's time
man
to stir
ever.
up the top 10
Woo!
Untold Truths of Kool-Aid.
You want answers? I want the truth!
Before the powder, there was liquid.
What the hell does that mean?
Liquid metal.
We all love Kool-Aid. The fruity drink comes in small and neat packets that contain the
Ooh,
powder.
liquid.
And as we'll see
That
later,
sounds
you
a
can
little
do
bit
so
fun.
much more with that powder than just mix it with
Whoa!
water and
That
drink
was
it.
really
But for the
hard to
generations
tell
of people
you.
who grew up to the familiar
Am
look
I
and
gonna
taste of the
be
Kool-Aid
gonna
packages, the
shake on
idea that the
that?
drink came in other
Woo!
forms than as powder would seem alien and bizarre. But the truth is, almost 100
Still
years
got a lot
ago,
of juices
Edwin
in it,
Perkins
yeah.
was still working out of his mom's kitchen selling his fruit concentrate, which came in the form of a liquid. Perkins was facing a big problem. The liquid was difficult to ship and it was also costly. It was called fruit smack. And apart from the connotations that such a name would have 40 years later among the hippies, it wasn't selling so well.
Even the good book can't help me now.
So Perkins went back to his mom's kitchen in Hastings,
Still got
Nebraska,
that way
barricaded
time
himself
than
there,
better.
and vowed he
That's
wouldn't come out
still
until
got
he
that.
found a solution, which he eventually
Still
did
got a
by
little bit of
extracting the
that.
liquid out of the fruit concentrate, leaving only
Ooh.
a powder. And that's how the powder
My
form of the drink was
hungry
born.
gives me
Perkins
the
would later move to
tastiness.
Chicago and sell his business to General
the
Foods.
flavor.
But Nebraska still treats Kool-Aid as its biological child. It's the official soft drink of the state, and every year they celebrate Kool-Aid Day.
All right, fine. Tilt your
Kool-Aid!
head back and I'll lean my liquid down into your mouth.
Kool-Aid survived the Depression.
Hey, homeless guys.
Having just found a way to solve all your shipping problems and changing the very essence of your product are crucial steps to making your business
That's very
thrive.
reason
But
I
what can you
tell
do when
you.
economic collapse brings the country to a standstill?
Ooh,
Edwin
that
Perkins
still's
was
gone
just
now.
beginning to enjoy the fruit of his labor and getting ready to move the center of operations
Still
from his
moving
mother's
along
kitchen
with
to a
you.
much larger facility when Wall Street crashed. Everywhere businesses were closing, millions of people lost their jobs, and economic
Oh,
doom
my
hovered
poor
all over the
little
globe.
thing.
As dire as the financial
I think
prospects
I
of his
know
new
this.
products looked, Perkins wasn't deterred. The shrewd businessman knew that people still needed their pitcher of fruit juice no matter how hard up things were.
How much should they first pay you to give up on your dreams?
If for nothing, at least to keep a sense of normalcy in their otherwise chaotic lives. What started as a 10-cent packet of fruit powder was later cut down to a nickel apiece. Now, even in the Dust Bowl states,
Now
a nickel
that's
was
the
nothing.
reason for
So while
sure.
other large
Still got a
corporations were
lot of
shutting
money
down
than
branches and
this.
factories all over the country, Perkins Kool-Aid was going through a boom. People couldn't get
Boom.
enough of the cheap fruity
Oh,
drink.
yeah.
And by the time the economy
Kool-Aid
turned around,
time.
the company emerged intact, if not stronger.
Yabba dabba doo!
Fighting
Fred
in World War II.
Flintstone!
Surviving the Depression by cutting down prices and appealing to people's need for a cheerful drink at the end of the day is one thing. But when a global war comes knocking on your door, that's a whole different ballgame.
That's
And
still
it's not
got
just
that
out
ball
of patriotic
game on
fervor
that.
that you feel the need to contribute
That's
to the
where
war
you
effort.
feel
There are
the
logistical
time of
factors
that.
at play here. Like, for example, the need to ration sugar on a national level. Sugar has always been at the heart of people's lives, and many businesses relied on the precious substance to keep running. That included Perkins and his Kool-Aid as well. Without sugar, you can't produce as many packets of your fruity drink.
Give me sugar.
But there was also another problem. People just seemed to have lost interest with the
Ooh,
drink,
that's
which
a
had
lot
helped
of
them
gas.
get through the Great Depression. Now, that was a novel
That still's got a
problem that
lot of
required
gas.
a different solution.
I
And
got a
Perkins
solution
found a
to
way
this.
out, as he usually did. With the troops fighting on the front,
Still
they
pretty
needed something
good,
fruity and sweet to
isn't
keep
it?
their energy and morale up. Perkins stepped in to fill that need. Over the next 4 years, Perkins Products Company shipped millions of boxes of lemon-flavored fruity powder to the troops fighting on the other side of the world. Now,
Wow.
those boxes didn't carry
Well,
the
that's
Kool-Aid
really
brand on them,
cool.
but they contained the
On
same
that
powder that those
Kool-Aid
same
man.
soldiers were raised on when they were growing up.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Kool-Aid to wash dishes.
You missed a spot.
We mentioned that Kool-Aid had other purposes besides quenching your thirst. Over the years, people have found creative ways to use Kool-Aid, which the enterprising Perkins hadn't even thought of. As we all know, he was just trying to find other ways to make it easier to ship his fruit juice when he stumbled
Ooh,
upon the powder
we're
thing. What he
trying
didn't
to
realize
feed
was that by
something
selling his
good,
colorful fruit
right?
mix as powder, he opened up so
Still got
many
the
possibilities
Kool-Aid
for
on
the
that.
bored customer. One of those is using it as a dishwasher cleaner. There will be more outlandish usages on this list, but this
That's
one
still
really
got a
takes the
dishwasher
cake.
that
Can I look at the
is.
dishes?
Now,
Still
mind
clean.
you can't just dump any flavor in your dishwasher and hope it will do the trick. You have to use the lemon flavor. Apparently, the lemon content is so strong in those packets that it will dissolve any stain and leave your dishes sparkling. And there's no magic involved. As we all know, the best dishwasher cleaners are lemon-based. Lemon has the ability to break down fat
Oh,
and
lemonade!
remove grease off surfaces. When you
I
run out of
didn't
dishwasher
swear,
liquid
I
and you don't
love
feel
it.
like
Clean
going to
it
the
up,
nearest
man.
store just to get a bottle, then you can empty a few
That
packets of
still's
Kool-Aid in a
empty.
glass of water, mix them well, then feed the juicy liquid to the dishwasher. It will work flawlessly, and the dishes will smell nice as well.
This family doesn't believe in dishwashers.
The Kool-Aid Man has been around for ages.
One trick is to tell them stories that don't go anywhere.
The pitcher has always been associated with Kool-Aid, almost since its early beginnings. But once TV ads became a thing, Kool-Aid needed to
Ooh,
redesign their
love the
unofficial
commercial.
mascot to make it more suitable for the new
so
media.
pretty.
And that's when the Kool-Aid
Oh.
Man was born. The very first ad to feature this vivacious pitcher involved it
Kool-Aid
bursting
Man.
through the walls of a bowling alley to help some thirsty kids. But this wasn't the only stunt the pitcher did. Over the years, it will recreate this same scenario. There are a bunch of children playing one sport or another, and it's hot and the players are thirsty. Then one of them will call for the Kool-Aid Man, who jumps in to save the day.
Go
And it worked. The
Kool-Aid!
pitcher became a humanoid and worked tirelessly to save
Still love the
children from the
Kool-Aid
dangers
stuff.
of thirst everywhere.
There you
You
made.
truly are king of kings.
It became as recognized a mascot as the McDonald's clown, Ronald McDonald. But that's not the only way Kool-Aid made some advances at popular culture. Once video games became a thing and children stopped playing outdoors, Kool-Aid didn't hesitate to jump on the
But then
bandwagon.
still
Well,
tasting like this.
You coming?
The Kool-Aid
I
Man
didn't love
video
that.
game.
I don't want to be the bad guy anymore.
Believe it or not, that was a thing at one time. Chances are your parents played the game when it first came out in 1983.
Now
That's how
that's a
popular
good
Kool-Aid
stylish
was during
for
the
the
second half
Kool-Aid
of the
Man.
20th century. Keep in
Oh,
mind that
yeah.
video games were not as ubiquitous as they are today. So to have a game that involves our gallant pitcher trying to save a lake of juice from an attacking horde is a good example of how big the mascot was on the cultural scene.
Want to get rich playing video games?
The game was available for the Atari 2600, which is the granddaddy of all game consoles. Yes, the concept
Ooh.
was simplistic, and
Oh,
the graphics
Kool-Aid.
were 8-bit
I
and
didn't
two-dimensional,
know
but the
what
game
this
was
is.
a
It's
hit.
still got a
The way you
fruit
played,
flavor.
you controlled the hero and tried to keep falling
Still
thirsty
got
enemies
falling
from the
from
top of the
above.
screen out of the lake. If they reached the lake, they drain it of its precious juice, which of course
Got a
was
lot of
Kool-Aid,
Kool-Aid.
and you win by
Man.
keeping the lake full.
But we can't change who we are.
Kool-Aid as hair dye.
I just ran out.
And here's another example of how to use Kool-Aid to give yourself the look you always wanted. This unusual way to use Kool-Aid has been around
That's
for
very
some time, and there
unusual
are
for
many
your
recipes
hair.
online. In its simplest
Very
form,
intense.
you'd use Kool-Aid the same way you'd use any other hair dye product. Just remember that if you're going to try this at home, the results are not always what you'd expect. Also, we wouldn't recommend this as a substitute for other legitimate hair dyes. Now that we've got this out of the way, let's see
Now
how people
that's
use Kool-Aid to
what
add
I'm
snazzy
talking
highlights to their
about.
locks.
That was the single most thrilling
That's
experience.
still got the haircuts coming through.
Usually, you'd need 2 packets of any color you like. Mix them well in 2 glasses of water and boil the mixture. If you want a bright and daring color, you can use 3 packets and 1 glass of water. As long as you're experimenting, the sky's the limit to how creative you can get. With the dye still hot, drop the locks of hair you want to taint in the bowl. Make sure not to scald yourself. You'll need to do the hair dumping a few times to make sure each individual hair has got its fill of the sugary color. When you feel your hair strands are saturated, remove your hair and let it dry.
You know where I could get some shampoo? Some strong shampoo.
The Kool-Aid delicacy.
Anyone who doesn't eat one is a chump.
The origins of this delicacy are not known, but for years the South has had its own way of enjoying Kool-Aid. They mix it with pickles to create a delicious snack called Koolicles. Maybe it had its roots in the Great Depression, or maybe it just happened by chance. The thing is, though, Koolicles are easy to make. If you love both pickles and Kool-Aid, then you can combine them to create something totally new and totally your own. All you need is a few packets of Kool-Aid, sugar, and a jar of dill pickles.
We're gonna serious pickle.
If your pickles are whole in the jar, you might need to slice them to make sure they get the Kool-Aid flavors. Having purple pickled cucumbers might surprise your guests, but they'll swear by the new exotic taste of this unusual pickle. As with every other use of Kool-Aid on this list that doesn't involve drinking the juice, you need to use discretion as to how much you'd need to add. Adding too much will cover the natural flavors of the pickles and leave you with sweet morsels with a hint of brine. Adding too little, and you won't get anything much different than normal pickles.
Out on my boat with a pickle that I still...
The deep fried variety.
Cheeseburger stuffed inside a cheeseburger with 2 deep fried cheeseburgers.
Knowing how humans have a propensity to drop anything they get their hands on into a pot full of boiling oil, we have to wonder how this latest culinary addition took so long. The year is 2011, and one chef decided that of all the uses of Kool-Aid, nobody had thought of frying the multi-purpose powder yet, and the chef was going to remedy that oversight immediately. The base of the dish was thick batter with a generous helping of Kool-Aid to add color and flavor. Once the mixture touches the hot oil, it reveals bright colors one usually wouldn't associate with fried food.
That's tasty.
But how about the taste? Well, it tastes like a very weird-looking donut.
That's
sugary,
weird.
Yes. Fruity, no doubt. But it still tastes like fried dough. So while there were no major breakthroughs in the field of taste and flavor, the shape and textures were totally groundbreaking. But unlike Koolicles, this fried version of Kool-Aid didn't catch on. Once the novelty wore off, the new dish simply faded away from memory, which is a blessing to say the least. We already have enough varieties of fried food to make our hearts ache.
Go have a piece. It ain't gonna kill you.
No more Kool-Aid stains.
Don't rub on that. You block that. You understand? That's
now Kool-Aid
For
stains
years, people have struggled with Kool-Aid stains. Many rugs had to be thrown away or shifted around so that the embarrassing stains would hide under the furniture. Even the Kool-Aid hair dye recipes online keep warning you about the mess left behind once you're done tinging your hair orange or purple. They recommend alcohol to remove the stubborn stains.
Well,
but
that's
these are things of the
very
past.
incredible.
Now that the company has come up with a magical recipe that doesn't stain. It's called Kool-Aid Invisible. And it simply leaves no traces
still got
or colors when
invisible
mixed
to
with
clean
water.
it up.
Heat on my rug.
Very.
on the dude's rug.
Of course, that's bad news for all the people who are relying on Kool-Aid as an affordable hair dye. So while rugs and carpets everywhere celebrate and all moms release a sigh of relief, the old powder with its adamant stains still has its own fans. Which just goes to show that not all progress is welcome and not all advances in science will be met with jubilation. And really, who wants to be drinking clear-colored cherry or grape Kool-Aid?
Well, there you have it. Maybe we'll come back tomorrow for the Respect the Pouch cartoon, Back to Back Business with Bobby Sue and Prairie.
Thanks for watching. Have fun day at the summer. Bye-bye.